What's up, guys? I'm in the RV7 here. Just kind of wanted to give you guys a brief tour of the cockpit. Just kind of showing you guys all the buttons and all the gauges and all that stuff that I have in here. So I'm gonna kind of do like a separate video turning on the battery switch and just explaining this right here, the EDM engine data management system. Just kind of explaining what everything is on there and stuff like that. It'll be real quick. It'll be about 60 seconds. I don't want to leave the battery on for too long and risk messing up anything at all. So I'll start left to right here. Right here is your check EDM. So this is kind of acts as a annunciator. In the jets and stuff, they have the master warning lights indicating if something is wrong. This is just does the same thing. It'll like flash if, like, say, oil pressure or if I'm not getting any fuel flow or anything like that. It'll flash on here and it'll give me a warning indicating that something is wrong. It'll also let me know right here on the EDM, and I'll have two options: either to press clear here, or I can of course go ahead and fix the problems. So here is my Dynon avionics. This kind of acts as a digital attitude indicator, so it'll give me ground speed and altitude and information like that. So I need to buy a new charger for it. The one that I have is broken. So this is just the dim lights for the cockpit. Kind of brighten up the lights completely here on everything, so that's always cool. This is your air ducts, let in cool air through here. This is my primer. I'll press that for when I'm ready to prime the engine and fire it up on a cold start. I'll only use this on a cold start. On the 172s and Cessnas and stuff like that, you have like a primer knob that you'll pull out and you'll push it in and stuff like that. But on my airplane, I just have this. It's a lot simpler. Just press it, hold it down for 4 to 5 seconds on a cold start, along with turning on your fuel pump, mixture full rich, and you're good to go. So again, and this here is the battery alternator switch. That's an alternator master switch. Flip that on to get your battery on and get all your electrical systems going. So this is for the magnetos. That's the right, left, and the both. This is for the avionics switch. That'll get my comms going, COM 1, COM 2. Here is your airspeed indicator. This is your turn coordinator. This is your attitude indicator. This will give me my information as far as my bank. If I'm pitching up, blue towards the sky. If I'm pitching down, the brown towards the ground, and the descent. This up here, this is my ELT information, emergency locator transmitter. If I were to, God forbid, crash the airplane, there's a ELT in the back of the airplane that will go off on the nearest ATC radar. It'll send off a signal alerting to them my position and that clearly something is wrong, so send some assistance, please. This is my suction gauge. You'll want that in the green. Of course, that is vacuum engine operated. Two things that rely off of this here is your attitude and your heading indicator. Those are vacuum operated. We have your altimeter here. They'll give you your altitude information. So our field elevation here is about 598, and this is for your autopilot. So you can flip that on just to turn the autopilot on. To actually engage the autopilot, I would need to press this here. That's for the altitude, and then this one here, that is for your heading. So I'll press the on and then it'll just engage. And it has a pretty cool nav mode on here. Like say if I'm direct to anywhere on here, if I'm direct to a fix or direct to an airport, I'll press that on, and then I'll hold these two down, and then it'll lock into whatever heading that I have on here, but only if I press down on these two here. But if I want to just hold like a regular heading or whatever, just press on and it'll fly at that altitude that I have set. And then I can press left, I can press right to turn to a particular heading, and these will be a standard rate of turn. I guess standard rate of turn, yeah. That's a vertical speed indicator that'll let me know, how much I'm climbing, how much I'm descending. Could be 1,000 feet a minute, could be 1,500 feet a minute. Typically, when I have a good barometric pressure and it's nice and cold outside, my airplane will give me 2,000 feet a minute. But on a regular warm day and stuff, I'll get 1,000 to 1,500 feet a minute on a climb rate. I've done some pretty fun stuff with this airplane. Done a low pass at indicating 160 to 180 miles an hour, and then just do a VX climb, and I've gotten 3,000 feet a minute on the climb rate on this thing. So this airplane is pretty fun, man. Coming back here, these are just your circuit breaker switches, and over here this is your pitot tube switch. You'll turn that on if you're going to fly into any moisture or icing, or so if you're going to fly into clouds, you turn that on. I'll turn that off. This is for your landing lights, nav lights, strobes, all your lights that are on your wing and on your rudder. This is for the fuel pump. I'll use that for when I'm starting the airplane, or if I'm switching my fuel tanks from like left to right, right to left, something like that. This is for the flaps, which are electronically operated on your Pipers. Pipers, you might have Piper Cherokees, for example. You might have manually operated flaps, so where you just pull the bar up. But this one is electronic. And then what else I got here? I've got the comms up here. Right now it's in COM 2, which is down here. I can flip it up, and COM 1 will be in here. And while we're at it, and this is for my GPS hold. If I wanted to do a GPS hold on, if I wanted to do a GPS hold for whatever reason, flip that on. And yeah, I really don't use this. I've never used that at all. This is standby. Is almost acts as a VOR number 2. This will give me my to and from course to a VOR station that I have tuned in here on my comms. Down here is your nose trim. So I'll press this and the nose will go up. Press that and the nose will go down. On Cessnas, like 172s and stuff, it's kind of the opposite. I think this makes a whole lot more sense. So, and again, on any airplane, and my airplane, the purpose of the nose trim is to release pressure off of your primary controls, off of your yoke, off of your stick, for my situation. So, and so I'll power it on, and then I'll get like a light indication on here. And again, this is your EDM. This will give me fuel remaining in hours, information on here, oil pressure, oil temperature gauge, cylinder head temperatures. All of that stuff will be on here, and I'll do a separate video for that. This is your COM 1, COM 2. I'll go here and tune in my VOR frequencies here, and then down here is the standby. Up here is the activated frequency, and here I'll pull out to ident and test the station. Listen for the Morse code identifier right here. Pull it out, push it back in. Okay, you're good there. All right, and this is for your to power it on. Power on the comms. Same thing here. Turn it to the right to power it on. I'll turn it to the left. I typically turn these off before I shut down the engine. I completely shut down as much electrical equipment as I can before I shut down the engines, and then I'll turn it on after I have the engines fired on. So this is your transponder. You know, put in your squawk code here, 1200-4537. Put in your transponder information here, and that'll give you your code, which will inform ATC of who you are and where you are and all that stuff. So each airplane in the country, we all have our own transponder code, you know, once you're in the air. So, and if you're like getting assistance being flown from one airport to the other, they'll tell you to put in a 4-number code, and then this is where you enter it in, and then you hit the alt. I leave my airplane on alt for altitude all the time, and that's it. Some guys turn it off, some guys will put it on. I pretty much again leave mine on. This is the ident feature. Press that, the ident feature. Go to VFR or standby. Okay, and this is just the rest of this stuff here. It's just, it has like a timer, and I'm able to go through and put in like pressure, altitude information and stuff in here. So I'll do that. Coming over here, I think I forgot these here. This is my carb heat. So this is a carb engine. Pull that out to apply it, and this is a throttle right here. This is your fuel slash air regulation, you know, knob, or however you want to call it. This regulates, you know, if you're flying rich or if you're flying lean or peak on the fuel. And on the EDM here, it'll help me out. It'll assist me with, you know, flying leaner peak or richer peak. I have a setting in here where I'll just go in after I fire up, and you know, I'll keep coming back like so, and it'll start flashing, letting me know, okay, you know, right there where you're at, that's good, or right there where you're at, you know, that's also good. So and that's of course to help get the best fuel burn, you know, for my airplane for that altitude and for that situation that I'm in. So this is your auto marker beacon light. So let's say if I'm flying an instrument approach and I get to my final approach fix, this will start flashing off in blue right here. So that'll start flashing off. That'll let me know, okay, I'm having final approach fix. I'll go ahead and start my descent, or I'll go ahead and bring my landing gear down or something like that. This is my squelch information right here. So squelch, basically, if I have this on the off, I won't be able to hear myself speak when I have my headset on. If I have it on, then I'll hear myself speak, and I'll also be able to record myself while I'm you know, recording with my GoPros. So if I don't have that on the on position, then you guys won't be able to hear me speak. You guys won't be able to hear me do a briefing on an approach blade, or, you know, or whatever. You'll hear me talk with ATC just fine, but yeah. So, and this thing here, it's your fuel gauges. Of course, that's required by the FAA. That's a left, that's a right. I really don't use this at all. I mostly rely off of the EDM information here. It's super accurate. I can fly for 4 hours and it'll tell me, okay, you have 10 gallons remaining, and it'll give me the amount I have remaining in hours and minutes, and I'll land, and you know, I'll check the tanks, and it's spot on, man. Of course, don't 100% rely on fuel gauges, but you know, this thing it's super accurate, man. This thing here is my baby for this airplane. So, and again, this is the push to talk button for the right seat side of things. So it's the push to talk when you're ready to talk with ATC. This is your ear dock right here. Cool air will come in. This is where you plug in for your inner jacks for your headset. Here I can plug in a charger and stuff. So right here, these are just lights that'll light up the panel, and down here is my fuel valve. I usually always will leave it on the off position for safety purposes whenever I have the engine shut down, and you know, whenever you fire it up, when I'm in the air, it's typically like that, or every 30 minutes I'll go ahead and switch it to the left. I'll use a timer on the transponder, you know, it'll let me know, okay, I hit 0030 minutes. I'll go ahead and switch it to the right, and the fuel pump will be on, and you know, I'll write it down on a piece of paper also too, just to kind of remind myself, because I've had times where I just completely forgot if I had switched the you know, the tanks. So I started creating a habit of, okay, I'm gonna write this down. Okay, left 0030. Okay, I switched it to the right at 1 hour, and then I switched it back to the left at 1 hour and 30 minutes. So that's the typical routine of that whenever I'm in the air. So, and again, this is the cabin heat. This will bring in you know, heat. Heat will be filtered in here to the airplane. The littlest amount will make your feet feel like it's on fire. So anything with this plane, man, just very minute, like touches, very gentle with everything that you do. So, and then up here, that's your magnetic compass. So yeah, and these are your rudder pedals right here. The brakes are only on the left side of the seat on the pedals, so you press up on your tippy toes, press up on the rudder pedals for the brakes. On the right side, there is no brakes. So if you have two guys in here, the guy in the left seat will be doing all the braking. But I never use brakes whenever I land. Just bring the flaps up, bring the kind of the stick back, and that's it. I just rely on aerodynamic braking. You'll melt your tires if you use your brakes a lot on planes like this. So I never really use brakes much on this airplane here. Maybe if I'm taxiing and I have a tailwind and stuff, and if the plane's pushed real fast, then I'll tap just gently and kind of slow down a little bit, pull the power back, and then just apply brakes and, you know, slow down. And then on here, I have the autopilot disengage button right here, so I can disengage the autopilot from here. This right here, this is how you talk to ATC with this switch right here. So yeah, so typically I'll fly with my left hand, and then one hand on like the throttle, or you know, another freed hand to right, stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's a pretty great airplane. 180 horsepower. It's a Lycoming 0360 airplane. So 42 gallons on the tanks. It's got the canopy setup going here. So yeah, man. Again, this is it. I'll do a separate video just kind of explaining the EDM for probably 60 seconds, maybe a minute and a half at the most, because I don't want to drain the batteries and have to get a power cart and all that stuff to start up the airplane again, or kill the lifespan of the battery. Yeah, thanks. You guys have any questions, let me know. Anything that doesn't make sense, just let me know. I thought I kind of over explained things. So anything at all you guys have a question on, hit me up, let me know. Other than that, safe flying, peace out.